30 Otome games to be excited for in 2026 and beyond. This is really the year of surprising Otome game announcements. It's a lot of steamy fun. This horny little gem is a horny game. On January 13th, we have Tsuitsui, or The Lucky Princess and the Unlucky Knight, the English localization. The princess, the MC, has been cursed that she can sense if something unlucky will happen. And she also senses something from the LIs, though it doesn't seem to be dangerous. So she invites them to become her knights, even without any prior experience. I haven't played the game myself, but I've heard it's very plot heavy, very tragic, though it also has its funny moments. It is very long and has a plot focus and not too much romance. And the selling point might as well be the voice actor of Alan from Cupid Parasite. And at the end of the video I tell you about a little surprise I have regarding this game. Then January 22nd, we have Unlogical, by the same studio as Utakata no Uchronia or Illusions of Itahari. And this is kind of a sci-fi setting where the heroine joins a VR death game. But as we've seen in the demo of the game, she doesn't join as a participant in the end, but as kind of an organizer. And the LIs are kind of interesting because one is her ex-boyfriend, voiced by Dante in Pure Fiore. Then we have the best friend with one of my favorite voice actors from All Loki in Pure Fiore. And then we have two players, one mysterious with the voice actor from Yosuga in Olympia Soiree, and one flirty guy with the voice actor of Riku from Olympia Soiree, and one organizer. It is the same company as Uchronia, so I'm thinking if it's successful like Uchronia, there might be high chances of it getting a localization as well. The last January week is followed by a port of the PSP game Glass Heart Princess. I guess it's a funny, weirdly funny setup because the heroine suffers an illness called the Glass Heart Syndrome, and she might die of a beating heart that is especially caused by getting flustered. So she has to train her stamina, but also she has to train dating and build up a resistance towards men. So in this game you actually have gameplay stat raising elements. You can date a schoolboy with a delinquent reputation, the teacher, a weird kind of alien guy, and the butler I was most excited for. It's very short, sweet, child-friendly, I would say. But reviews probably coming soon, and I can say it's by far the easiest game in Japanese. On the same day we get a port of the last dynamic chord game Apple Polisher, where the MC is already a popular singer but is childhood friends with a band member of Apple Polisher and so gets into contact with the whole band. I bought the beta version mainly for the voice actors, being Jodo from Hamafra, Theo from Pure Fiore, Louis from Nilat Mirari no Tenbin, and of course Benki from Hiroshana. And even after I couldn't get into LIS, I am still excited to try out Apple Polisher. Then in February we finally get one of the probably biggest surprises in terms of localization announcements, and that is the Hakuoki Suite School Life spin-off. It is localized by East Asia Soft, who also brought Hakuoki back to the Switch, and who also said that they are planning more localizations, so we definitely need to watch out for that. But first, the spin-off of Hakuoki in a school setting. I started it a bit without having played Hakuoki, and that wasn't the best plan. It builds heavily on your love and knowledge of the characters, and it's mere like fun shenanigans games. I think it's best to already have a relation with the characters from the main games and then relax with this spin-off. Then, March 26th, a whopping 4 games released. One I'm extremely excited about, one I'm not at all excited about. Okay, starting with the best of the best, so like my most excited game. And that is from the same studio that brought us Hanakare. And again, they made an Otome game adaptation of one of their drama CDs. And that game is Handsome Laundering. That is a funny title because all the 8 LIs work in a laundry cafe where they help customers with all kinds of troubles, including the ones of the heart or counseling, or like in this game, with some mystery and detective work. So the 2 heroines each have their own problem and probably solve it with the 4 LIs together. One comes to the cafe to solve the mysteries of her school, and the other the mystery of an ominous scent. The 4 drama CDs are used as an epilogue, so you can listen to them as a preparation before getting into the game. And because I loved Hanakade so much, I trust the studio to do something great again. Then the title I'm not so much excited about, but that's mainly because I've already played it, but I was really excited about it when it released in Japanese in 2024. And that is Muyo Otome Doshi, or Otome Daoshi in English. I know it has super cute art, it has a manga panel style sometimes, and a very interesting setup. We're in a martial arts country, and the final competition between the martial arts fighters is interrupted by an attack by zombies. The heroine, together with the respective LI, tries to find out who is behind these attacks. But for me, this game lacked everything a good Otome game needs, in my opinion. Lack of character development, lack of internal conflicts, a too convenient plot that is easily solved, barely any romance. She either falls in love with her childhood friend, or they fall in love with her at first sight. So there is no love development, and just a kiss slapped on after the credits. I will make a review about this game later, because it's a localization and I know people are curious how good or bad the game is, but reviews in Japan weren't good at all. So I hope it will get better reviews in the English-speaking audience. So far I think it's maybe not suitable for veterans, but more a light-hearted beginner Otome game, if you just want something short and simple. Then a game I would like to be excited about, and that is Homer Cypher. It's an indie switchboard in multiple languages, including English, Japanese and Chinese. And the setup is extremely unique, because you have to decipher the language of the monsters and then date them. I wish that would be a Japanese learning game, seriously. I mean, in fact, it's a language learning dating game, just for a fictional language. Such a shame. But the reason why I'm very hesitant about the game personally is that it definitely classifies as horror and gore. There's blood on every picture you will find about the game. The monsters you date are extremely scary. Sadly, I think it has a niche audience, people who like dating and people who like horror and gore, which is sadly not me, but I've heard great things about it. And then the last port for this day, oh my god, a Diabolic Lovers port of Lunatic Parade and Dark Fate. I couldn't get into Diabolic Lovers, so I have absolutely no idea what's going on there. What I've heard that these games have more plot than the Haunted Dog Bridal, or the first game. And also in March, though we don't know yet when, another English localization is waiting for us. It's Homura the Crimson Warriors. I haven't played that game, so I can only sum up the synopsis, which is very difficult for me because I'm not at all history buff. 14 years after the Sekigahara War and the Tokugawa shogunate is fighting against the Toyotomi clan. And I think all the allies are on side of the Tokugawa party. I really don't know history. And the MC is a ninja as well, I think. I'm sure this game is very appealing for fans of Hakoki and Biroshana, as it seems very plot heavy, and of course we have a historical fantasy setting. Then in April 23rd, the Matsurika no Ke FD will release. I'm not sure if I'm one of the few people who didn't enjoy Matsurika, but it was quite popular in Japan. And now we get backstories and after stories for the characters, one new character who looks kinda hot, and an alternative route for Faye, which I think is a great idea, if you know what happened in his route in the main game. They also seem to start adding vibrations for special scenes. So I think it's exactly what you would expect from an FD. Sweet time, some more details, and just some fun. In June, we will get a game where the hype level is already pretty high. And that is Crazy Chain, which is drawn by the same artist as Virge. And you see some characters kind of look similar. And this is apparently a Jeanne d'Arc retelling, but after a 2,400 years raging war between two European countries. There still is war. In every generation, one Jeanne d'Arc is born that is blessed by the strength of a god and who is supposed to lead the fight for the country. But this Jeanne d'Arc doesn't want to be a saint anymore and finds out she can lose her sainthood and these godly powers when she leads the country to victory and falls in love. Very interesting setup. And it is clear that we have a very assertive heroine who will chase love. The LI who looks like Anku from Virge is supposed to protect her, but because she is so strong, he rather ends up being protected by her. Then I think the game tries some voice actor magic with two very popular voice actors. I would guess that it's rather plot heavy, extremely tragic. From the presentation, maybe it has a focus on the true root. But the scenario writer certainly is promising, the same as could realize Virge and Miss Tonya. Sometime in summer we will get, finally, the English version of Over Requiem Z. I've already made a review about that, so you can go watch that. In Over Requiem, that is loosely based on The Wizard of Oz, the heroine gets transported into another world where she is convicted for trespassing in the royal castle, and she would get a prison sentence, but recently there are appearing mysterious ruins that spawn monsters, so instead the kingdom decides to send prisoners on an expedition to find out what's happening in these ruins and to protect the people from these monsters. The true plot actually is when the heroine finds out each reason of each ally why they are willing to go on this dangerous mission and finds out about their trauma. And I do love a good trauma therapy route, and these routes are exactly that in the good routes. But the unique selling point of the game, what makes it special, popular, and will stay in your mind for quite some while, are the darkness routes, where each character spirals into darkness and they end up breaking each other. Some call it juicy yandere, I call it despair yandere. It is certainly an experience. Definitely recommend this game to everyone who enjoys a dark and also gory story. This is really the year of surprising Otome game announcements, because there's another announcement I would have never seen coming, but I know everyone was wanting it. And that's the localization of the Bidoshana fan disc. Finally! I never thought Idea Factory would be so nice to give us the Bidoshana fan disc. I personally only played the Bidoshana main game to play the Bidoshana fan disc because I knew, or I heard, that the Bidoshana fan disc is a horny game. They make out a lot and it's all about the magic and love of making out. And that's my type of game. So you have a lot of plot and fun and good romance development, as you know, in the Bidoshana main game. And then you get a lot of payoff and a lot of sweet time in the Bidoshana fan disc. For the main characters, you get after stories that are kind of short with 3 hours, but these 3 hours, you don't want to know how often I played Benke's scenes. It's embarrassing. It's a lot of steamy fun, trust me, or trust my review. Then the side characters get their own routes, and these are as plot heavy as the routes in the main game, and they are so good in my opinion. They are tragic, they are dark, the bad ends, yes, they are juicy dark. For me it was better than the Bidoshana main game because there was so much fighting, war plot I don't care about, that wasn't as present in the Bidoshana fan disc. So I enjoyed that more. I enjoyed the new characters, great story, great love development, and I enjoyed spending time on the futon with Benke. Yeah, I can't thank Idea Factory enough for localizing this horny little gem. Sometime this year, we will get another Voltage title, Sins of Kaleido. There's not a lot of information out yet. What I got is that the MC's family was killed and she's kind of out for revenge, but then meets the allies who are witches. And as it's set in the same universe as Even If Tempest, I speculate that there will be another like killing, maybe rewinding time, but some killing, changing mechanic. What is very outstanding is the mate LI. A lot of people are curious about. Then we have quite a good lineup of voice actors, I would say. Like Yang from Pure Fjord, Toka from 9RIP, Masamune from Norn 9, or Gomon from Nightshade. So far, the 3 Voltage games on the Nintendo Switch have been following a linear route order where I guess you could say you have a very long common route with each chapter being dedicated to one LI, only branching out endings for each LI. So far the games have been plot heavy with a bit of romance and a focus on the tragic plot. Then we have 2 more ports from a company that actually doesn't exist anymore. So far they've ported the dynamic chord games Ayakashi Gohan and Blackish House Side A last year, and will now also port Blackish House Side Z. I haven't played Blackish House yet, but what I gather is that all the characters are musicians and are forced to live together in one house to produce a musical performance, or their contracts will be terminated. But I think that is just the background to explore some really dark, toxic characters. The game advertises their character as pure black. So I'm not sure whether I'll be able to enjoy it, but I try. Sounds like a challenge, but an interesting one. And then they will also port Starry Sky, the spring series, so in spring and after spring. in one game on the Switch. In theory, there are 4 seasons of the Starry Sky games, each with a fan disc, and this is the first package, so to say, so maybe the others will follow. Each is a slice of life high school story with 3 LIs. In Starry Sky Spring, these LIs are voiced by Kudoba from Olympia Soiree, Goemon from Nightshade, and Natsuko from Norn 9. It's very fluffy and the Japanese is very easy, so next to Glass Heart Princess, a very nice pickup if you want to start playing in Japanese. Then the last port of the year will be Black Wolf Saga, with both games included. A game I haven't played because it's very high trauma, but very low romance. I know it's very famous for that reason, but because it's a reject game, you need to be prepared for a lot of abuse and trauma. These are so far all the games for 2026, and if you're excited for Tsui Tsui as well, then I can announce you can participate in my giveaway that Idea Factory is allowing me to do for 2 digital codes of Tsui Tsui. Just write a comment which game you are most excited for in 2026, and I will draw a winner one day after release of the game. So make sure to check your notifications on YouTube. Now a very brief look at the games that don't have a release date yet. One of them is Mixdunk, like 9 Swallows, a mashup between Otome game and sports game, this time basketball. Looks sweet and fun, and I have absolutely no interest in it, sorry. I'm way more excited for Bunny's high school. We don't know much, except that it's an elite Yankee school where the extremely strong heroine dresses up as a boy and fights without rules. Like, looking at the scenario writer, who's the same as Bidoshana and KBO, it definitely seems like an Otome version of Kenkabancho Otome, and I'm all here for it. I love Kenkabancho Otome, and the setup looks so exciting. The characters look kind of crazy. I'm extremely hyped for that one. And then we have yet another, it's this time of year, yet another Hakuoki entry, but this time with a twist, because it's a prequel to all the other games. And this takes place in Europe. It explains why the LIs are what they are. So I love the art. It's the same as Variable Barricade One Fortune. So maybe, I'm not sure yet, maybe that will finally be my entrance into the Hakuoki franchise. I don't know. I will definitely keep an eye on it as well. One more controversial new announcement is an Omega-verse Otome, so far called Birth Project, but maybe that's just the project name. They describe it as the Otome take on Omega-verse, which probably implies they won't follow all the standard rules of the Omega-verse. I'm not into Omega-verse myself, but I do admire that they're trying something new and are also exploring trends outside of the Otome genre. Then a Charade Maniacs FD was announced. I know Charade Maniacs was quite popular in Japan. I don't think it was that successful in the English-speaking audience. So far what we know, it looks exactly what an FD looked like. So after stories, sweet time, maybe some additions to the lore. Way more interesting looks Shinrei Shinju to me, where the so-called slaves of different gods or fantasy creatures, like the waving cat, kitsune, 8-headed serpent, Tsukuyomi, or Susano, fight against apparitions, and only the MC, the Shrine Maiden, will be able to help them. Very vague so far, but the scenario writer of Nine Rip will also be the scenario writer for this game, so maybe it will have a similar vibe. Then there's actually another localization waiting, and that is the Prince of Tennis remastered port in Japanese and English and maybe Chinese, where you watch the show with the Prince of Tennis team. Very surprising, but I hope it will be successful so that they will localize more Otome games. 5 projects left we don't know much about. That is of course the Jack and John sequel, the next project by Likobits called Le Mirage Mystique, the next project by Takuyo, Yuko no Machi no Globster, and the next 2 projects by Voltage, for now called Astrea and Invisible. That was a lot. I think it's another great year for Otome games. We see the number of Otome games increasing every year. Sales numbers have stabilized. If it's a successful Otome title, they will sell about 10,000 copies in the first week. So overall, I think, like I said already 2 years ago, the future is bright for us Otome fans. And I'm glad you're all here so we can enjoy this journey together. And if you're interested how my Otome 2025 looked, then watch me tier rank all the games I've played and that were released last year.